Yes, let's give a warm welcome to our guest filmmakers. Come on down, everyone. Thank you all for staying with us for the Q&A. One more group to go. I will ask them all first, please. Each take a turn introducing yourself, your film, and what your role was on the film.
Cool.
Start with
Hi, my name is Eitan. I'm the director of SISSY, the Italian short, and I'm getting very emotional right now, so I'll pass it on to you.
Hey everyone, I'm Camrus Johnson. I'm the director-writer of the last short, She Dreams of Sunrise.
Oh. My name is Joseph McDonald. I'm also verklempt from the last film. I'm the writer and director of FREEBIRD.
My name is Nicholas Hurd, and I'm the creative director of the film FREEBIRD alongside Michael McDonald, who is the director of the film.
Great job, guys. Great stuff. I'll kick off the first question, then open it up to you. For each of you, either what was the inspiration that led to the making of this film, or how did you come to be involved in your film?
All right. So She Dreams of Sunrise is actually based off of a true story. I was my great aunt's caretaker from ages 18 to 20. So yeah, that was me on screen in the orange shirt. And yeah, I don't know. It was the most hard time of my life, but also the most beautiful. So I wrote a movie, like the feature version of it, quite some time ago, but it was too hard to sort of actually make because of how emotional the times were. So when this opportunity came up, I thought I'd make the short animated version of it, and that inspired me to finish the feature version. So yeah.
His beautiful short reminded me of basically the backstory when I basically what was before SISSY. Basically my mom got sick when I was 30. I was like almost a year ago, and it lasted very few months, and I wasn't actually able to do anything but stay close to her, and I did all that I saw in your short, so that put me back in the mode of mine. And basically it was pretty, tough, because I had to, basically I spent 5 months back to back with her, and then she was at the hospital for a random checkup, and she begged me to go to a festival to LA where my short was screening, and there was no way that I could fight against her. She was like the one that decided. So I did it for her, and ultimately my dad told me that that was what she wanted me to do. And basically, I don't know what are God's plans, but I just did that for her, because I mean, she didn't want me to stay close to her at the hospital that day, and I was back in LA when I got the call, and I had to fly back, and basically I was late. So I couldn't actually talk to her for the last time, and I decided to do this short because I wanted to do it in her memory, but also to feel that, our dearest, when they pass away, then because of COVID, because of cancer, because there's not only COVID, there's cancers, there's a lot of bad things that can happen, but when they pass away, they're not gone for good, they're not gone forever. Death is not the end of things. And I dreamt actually about her as a little girl, and what was astonishing, and I'm really happy to share this with you, thanks to Paul and this magic program, because the short program is amazing, all the programs are like fantastic, is that I bumped into a little girl one day, and I knew her from before, but she was like 7, and I was really in denial, and I was like, I wanted to show an homeless guy, a guy that decides to live on the street, because I wanted to give it a shape, a stronger and more extreme shape, but I was really in denial. I was really at my lowest point, and this little girl just grabbed my hand and she said, "This is not the way to live, man. You gotta pull your shit together, and you and you gotta come back to life." and I said, oh my goodness, I just wrote this story, and an anecdote which is very, very powerful to me is that one day when I was like preparing the role with her, she was like smarter than everyone else. She started saying things that were basically my mom's sentences, and expressions that only my mom used to say, and I asked her mom, I mean the little girl's mom, where did this little girl, her name is Dea, which means literally goddess in Italian, asked where did Dea hear that from? And she said, we investigated for 2 days. There was nobody that used that expression, and basically it was my mom's. So thanks to this little girl, I came up with the story, and I want to share it with the audience because we all have our loved ones because of COVID, because of cancer, because of accidents, but they're not gone for good. They live within us, and I'm sure, and I want to see them having the time of their life in another dimension and finally being able to be happy. And this is what we all, and we need to do it for them to live our life to the fullest. And I believe that was the reason why I am still here. So this is my mission right now, to give a voice to my mom's life, because she went through a lot of things, and I'm very, very happy to share this with you. Thank you so much.
So for FREEBIRD, my brother in November of 2020 asked me to breakfast, and he's a dinner guy. So I was like, ooh, okay, yeah, I'll definitely be there. And when we met, he said, Michael, I've been working in the disability activist world for like 15 years. So he said, Michael, I know you have a lot of friends with Down syndrome. My wife and I decided that we're going to adopt a child with Down syndrome. Can you tell me some of the stories of the people that you know who are living their lives to the fullest? So we had a great breakfast, and I got in the car, and I started reflecting on 2 things. One, how I usually am not good at picking gifts for people, and I was gonna, be an uncle of a new little girl in our family. So I was like, what can I give her? And then 2, I thought, all these stories that I shared with him of people like you, Nick, they're not always easy to find. When she grows up, she won't necessarily be able to see this on screen. And so I was at a red light, and it's crazy. I got an email from a guy named Jordan Hart, who performed and wrote the song behind our movie. And he said, I woke up at 3 in the morning. I wrote this song called Freedom about the struggle of people with intellectual disabilities. And I just wanted to send it to you to see if we could do something together. So it was pretty crazy. So I got home, and I called Nick because I've been a fan of your work, and we had met in Northern Ireland years ago, and that's when you came into the story.
I'm going to fill that in right now. So I met Michael 5 years ago in L'Arche. Actually, it was a L'Arche Federation in Ireland, Belfast. That's how I hooked up with Michael. I was there with a drama team leading in 12 different countries with the program I am still part of today, called L'Arche Toronto Soul Express. And Soul Express is a creative drama team back in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, which I'm from and born and raised in. And I've been doing disability activists for actually almost my whole life. So I've been doing it since I was like, when I was like a 1-year-old. So I was kind of born with it. Because back in the mid-80s, my mother and other mothers were involved with the Down Syndrome Association back in Toronto, Ontario, in the Beaches area. And they started something. It was taken from pilot parents. It was, my mother did a lot of research, and we used to talk to parents I used to talk to lots of parents and meet their child who have Down syndrome. And I've been doing activists almost my whole life. And now, seeing our film, FREEBIRD, actually brings all that back. And FREEBIRD is an amazing film. This is the first animation film with someone who has Down syndrome. And normally, you don't see a person with Down syndrome in any animation films, like, say, the movie Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. Those are our classic films, animated films in Disney Pixar, and normally you don't see a person in there who has Down syndrome, but this is our first animation film, a person with Down syndrome. So, like, ever. So this is like a big start in that process, and I bet there is more animation like that to come. So stay tuned for that.
All right, let's go to our audience and see if you have any questions. Just throw a hand up and I will call on you. And don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you. I can always ask more, but rather hear from you. Anybody up there? All right, I'll ask a follow-up question to all of you. Give us one behind-the-scenes story. You can choose from 1 or 3 categories. Something that you had to leave behind that you loved, because that happens a lot when editing down a short. A backstory, an interesting story from the film, anything like that.
Who would like to start? Okay, you go.
Well, there's a lot that we had to leave behind, but I think the sort of fun fact, maybe, is this the good one to share? There's so many things. One of the guy that we worked with, so we did a tripod approach to this film. So I was kind of in charge of the story craft, like what happened and why. Nick was in charge of the soul craft, the truth of the narrative. And this guy, Joe, who's not here, was in charge of the visual craft. So he was the one that was the expert in animation. And he came up with this cool idea that you can't see in the film unless you lay it out as storyboards. But if you'll notice, the beginning was in full color, and then all the memories were a monochrome shade. And he made sure the entire rainbow, the full spectrum of light, was represented from start to finish. So if you put all the storyboards together, you see the whole rainbow. And that was a big deal for us for 2 reasons. One, Nick is a very great advocate of the LGBTQ community in Canada, and the rainbow is the symbol. And the other thing is that the symbol for the neurodiversity movement is an infinity rainbow sign. So that was like a really fun thing that Joe snuck in there as an Easter egg.
Camrus?
Well, there's nothing much we had to leave behind, because our film was part of the 846 program. So in honor of George Floyd, we had to make our film exactly 8 minutes and 46 seconds to reclaim, pretty cool, right? It was to reclaim that time back for the Black community. So basically, we had to storyboard to the T before we animated anything. And I had to do what's called the acting references, which is basically just a live action storyboard. So everything that you saw on screen in that short, there was a video of me poorly doing it in my living room in Vancouver. So there was nothing we had to sort of leave behind, because we had to over-plan ahead of time. But I will say one thing behind the scenes that went poorly. And so my conductor, we had a orchestra do the music in Budapest. And I don't know what happened, but apparently when we went to do the live recording of the video, there was just like this behind the scenes of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Whenever George Lucas was, which one was it? No, Spielberg was listening to the live recording of Star Wars. So I was like, I want to do that. I want to feel like Spielberg, right? So my conductor was doing the music, and I was watching it live on my computer, and I was like, this is awesome. But every now and then it'd be like, dun-na, dun-na, na-na-na-na, dun-na. And I was like, is this supposed to sound like that? He was like, yeah. It's well, yeah. And he told me much later that apparently every F in the entire score was missing. So the entire score was incorrect. So he was, and I don't know music that well, so I was just like, this sounds off. But he kept his cool, and he was like, yeah, they were just, this is the rehearsal part. So I'm watching it, and I was like, this is dope. I'm gonna get off, but you let me know how it goes. And apparently, like, they didn't charge us because they messed the whole thing up. So he had to stay like an extra 2 hours to like rewrite everything while they were recording and do it all over again. Wow. Yeah, but they still crushed it. They still killed it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's something very funny that actually happened on my set, because it's actually a true story that a few years ago I was in the US and I just came back to Rome and I didn't want to see anyone but my mom, so I used to meet her close to that bridge, basically not really under the bridge, but close to that bridge, and I wanted to film there, and we were like during COVID, so everything was like pretty crazy, and I was afraid also because I didn't want to seem like I wanted to take advantage of the fact that I wanted to portray that kind of situation. So, you know, there were people living under the bridge, and I was really scared, and I told my producer, was a very kind person, I said, I need to film there, what can I do? And I basically, she went to talk to them. They wanted to talk to me afterwards, but no, I wanted to talk to them afterwards, after she talked to them, and when she told them about the story, man, those people, I mean, homeless people under the bridge, that I used to hang out with homeless people all the time because they have a great stories to share, and I really like to help them. I'm at least giving a lot of time to them. I didn't know those guys. They all like stood up and they started basically blocking people from entering the shot. So basically we had the whole people living under the bridge working as PAs, stopping people in the busiest street of Rome, Trastevere, stopping everybody from entering the frame. And I was so mesmerized because I was afraid that they might say, no, you cannot film here. And they were actually helping us, and they wanted us to have the greatest shot ever. So I was like, it was a godsend. So that was amazing. Yeah.
And I have a story to share, the story behind the napkin. So here is the story about the napkin. So the message that says, you are right, he's perfect. So I came up with all kinds of different pronouns that all of us go by, like he, she, her, zer, their, and them. Actually, that actually came from a book that I know of that I'm about to publish with my sister-in-law this year. And it's called My Name is Sunny. And it's about a boy who has Down syndrome, going through life like we all do, and sharing the same experience that we go through every day, but with another boy who is 8 years old. So there would be children involved, children who have Down syndrome, in this book called My Name is Sunny. So there's a paragraph in the book that came to me, and that's the story of how I came up with the napkin part in the film FREEBIRD. So that's the story of how I came up with, you are right, he's perfect. So that's how I came up with that part in the film that is in the beginning of the film and at the end of the film. So when next time you watch it, you would know what I'm talking about, that everybody here is perfect. So I know we may not be perfect because we're imperfect, but doesn't mean we're any different. But also in a way that we're perfect. We're perfect in every single way because each of us is unique. We have different opinions, we have different values, and we celebrate of who we are today. And we were born to be brave. And also, And this film is freaking fantastic. So all of you are perfect. So
Thank you.
be proud of that.
All right, before we let you all go, each of you take a turn to tell us what's up next for you.
So I am the male lead of a show called Batwoman on the CW. So we're waiting to see if we have a 4th season. In the meantime, I am in a Netflix animated movie coming out next year. I have the live-action feature version of She Dreams of Sunrise that I just finished yesterday, so I'll be pitching it and trying to get it made. Thank you very much. Very soon, so very excited about that. I'm adapting a Scholastic Kids book into a movie right now. I am pitching an animated feature tomorrow, actually. And I also have an animated series in development and some music in development, so I'm kind of a workaholic. But one thing I did want to say real quick, because I don't say it often in Q&As and it just came to mind. So in real life, when I was a caretaker, my aunt had meningitis. So the inspiration of She Dreams of Sunrise was, in real life, she couldn't decide which world that she was in. She was always sort of stuck between two because she would hallucinate. And in the short, I thought it'd be interesting if she could choose when she got to go into the world that she wanted to be in. So the title She Dreams of Sunrise comes from the many nights that she would wake me up to like crazy hallucinations of she was getting attacked by a tiger or a snake or whatever it was. But then one morning at sunrise, I woke up and she was giggling, and it was as if she was playing with these little kids. So there were times where her hallucinations were like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and that's kind of, that one day that's what inspired the short of sometimes she's not having nightmares, she's having beautiful dreams. So what would it look like if she could have that and choose to have that every single day? So yeah. Wow.
Yes, I feel you a lot. So that's really the most important thing in life is, for me, I'm working on a few projects which are 2 scripts and my first debut film that I will dedicate to my mom, and I have one of the best Italian actresses on board, and I'm very happy about that. And what I was saying is that I really think that unconditional love is the most important thing in the story of a film, and the most important thing is to share love with the people that are around us, and that's why we make movies and why we need to share them with the audience, because life is all about love, and there's nothing more important than a mother's love, because we all come from there. So mothers and women are beautiful, and I'm very happy that I had the actor on board, and he wanted to share the story as well, because he feels that the father is as important as the mother, and we should give a voice to both figures, because that's the value of the family. And what makes me really happy is that I can share this with you. And so basically all my stories, the films I'm working on, are all about unconditional love. One is actually about disability, and I'm dedicating it to basically I was called to write this script about a disabled person, and it's a true story, and I'm working on like making it a story through time that moves back and forth in time, and it's all about unconditional love, and that's what makes me happy when I can work on real stories, real people, and to make people's lives better. I think that's the mission, and right now also my mission is to take SISSY on this journey that just started here in Cleveland, and I cannot be, words will never be enough to thank this festival for giving me the opportunity to screen it as a world premiere, and it's my mission. I'm doing it in memory of my mom, so right now that's the most important thing for me. So thank you so much.
Well, you guys have it figured out. We're kind of, for FREEBIRD, for the FREEBIRD team, we've got a lot of ideas. I think one of the things that keeps me up at night, probably not you, Nick, because you're much more of a contented, grounded person than me, but there's a great burden when working and gathering stories of people with disabilities. There's not all that many authentic narratives where people with disabilities were behind the camera and shaping the narratives about their own experiences. And so when you hear a lot of stories or you try to create the space for that, you know, you spend a year getting one story, but there's so many out there. And so there's a good list of probably like over 100 stories that I would love to spend time with, but the big question is which one? So we've been playing with multi-plot narratives, because then you can get lots of stuff in a small space. So we've got this current idea of maybe it's kind of like Love Actually meets Glee, but all the characters have disabilities and it's animated and it's a musical. So that's it's pretty wild, but we do have a treatment on that we've developed. So we'll see if that comes to life.
Thanks.
That sounds amazing.
So it would be like a bit like a TV series. Is that correct, Michael?
Well, I've been trying to stay away from TV, but people have been trying to bring it into that. Yeah, but I'd rather just keep in the film world.
So it'd be like a film. So look out for that film. And also, FREEBIRD is also comes with different life experience that we can all relate to. That we all go through loss. We all go through discomfort. We all can go through different, like loss. You can see a lot of that in the film too. That we can experience freedom. We can experience life. We can also experience graduation, a high school crush, getting married, and having parents. Having a parent who loves you, no matter what, who loves you, doesn't matter who you are, and who you're married to. It doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, or have Down syndrome, or black, or any race. It doesn't matter. You are you, and that is what we celebrate together as people. We celebrate humanity and we celebrate life. And that's the main part of it, right? We celebrate life in this room and we celebrate it outside of this room and even all around the world. So we celebrate all kinds of life that is thrown at you, and we keep reaching for the stars and don't stop believing and share all that love and tenderness that we can share with others around us, and keep that going, and you know what? And just keep educating others about everything that is out there today. So let's keep educating our kids about disabilities, about anything that's to do with anything, and use it to create different films or anything. And that's what film is. We are film lovers, and we can watch it and we can be moved and celebrate the life that goes on within the film. So let's keep it going. So let's keep it going and celebrate life.
Please join me in thanking our incredible, talented filmmakers for being with us. Thank you all so much. Please don't forget to vote. And I know you want to talk to our filmmakers, but we also have another film that's going to want to come in here. So lots of hallway out there to have discussions after the film. Don't forget to vote. You're giving away a lot of prizes and money.